Alright, looks like we're up and running. Right. Remember, no view in the top four in the sprint. What, for the whole lap? After lap 3? That's 9 laps. I think I'll be watching it. Alright, let's get going then. We've got a few people who've already joined. Oh, we don't want to start yet. Right, I've got multiple tier 3 drivers telling me that they don't want to watch tonight, which means shit goes down. So yeah, welcome to round 2 of season 15 it is now of ALR's GT7 Championship. This is tier 3. Last week we had quite a dominant sprint race from Spin to take pole and win as well. And then the feature race was won by Peachy, who was, well, he started at the front for the feature. So it was pretty much one-way traffic in both races, just for different drivers. We've got a lot of decent drivers in this tier, though, that could be challenging them tonight. So let's go through who we've got. Lining up last is a driver who actually got a couple of wins in Tier 3 last season. This season he's in the Jag, which we know isn't one of the meta cars at the moment, so it looks like he struggled to get anything out of it in qualifying. And we got another driver who's returned from long absence. He won the Constructors' Championship in Tier 1 in Season 4, so 11 seasons ago. And he's making his comeback after some time away. He's only managed to get 15th in the Ferrari, that's Trocker. We got Giulio in 14th, the last minute addition. He was one of the reserves and basically got told with a few minutes notice that he was racing, so he's lining up 14th. Got Fak a little bit better than last week, lining up 13th, but still expecting more from him in the Renault. Then in the Huracan, we've got Jezza, who seems to be qualifying around about this spot consistently and finishing around here as well. Deco P11, so he was on course for a podium last week in the feature and had some issues, mainly with time penalties. Failing to get into the top 10 this time, and last week's pole sitter Spin only P10 right now. He's got a Huggies livery on today, so that's quite interesting. He's in the Nissan GTR, so he is lining up in P10, which is he's going to have a much harder time this time round compared to last time. Scotty is in P9. Scotty's in the BRZ. That is he's struggling with it, but yeah, qualified in the top 10 regardless, so could still score some solid points today. Anonyma up into P8. He's in the FT1, I think. I don't think he's in the GR Supra. I think he's in the FT1, so fairly decent quality for him in the top 10. This is just his second qualifying session. Pagel only 7th. Expected a bit more from Pagel in the Mazda, lining up right next to his teammate Pyro in 6th. Pyro was beating Tier 1 drivers in practice, so I think he would probably be a little bit disappointed with this quality time. Then 5th place Eroticos in the other Renault. Again, will have been expecting a little bit better after what he was doing in practice. Peachy up in P4. Well, actually, it says he's in P2. Ethan. Okay. Take 2 off everything that I've just said, because Peachy's actually in 2nd. Revenge got pole position, incredible for him. Ethan, for some reason, he is down in 10th, but showing him as 2nd at the moment. And Kanata is not on pole; he's in P4. So yeah, a little bit strange there. Yeah, yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Kanata. Yeah, well, you didn't qualify first. No bonus point for you. Risk Revenge on pole. That'll be his first pole position in ALR on his third qualifying session, I think it is. So pretty decent for him. If you can convert this into a win, I think that'll be announcing him as a championship contender for sure. But let's get going. We've got a good few people in the chat now. So let's see what happens. This is round 2, Road Atlanta, middle of the night, 12 laps for our sprint race. And the lights are out of the way. We got looks like a bit of a slow start there for Revenge, and he's going to drop behind Eroticos, who's going to swoop past him in that fast starting Renault to take P1 up into turn 1. There's BMW challenging Revenge as well. Looks like he's gone off track. Oh, this is a nightmare start for Mr. Revenge. He's down into P8 at the moment, and yeah, getting overtaken by his teammate there, Spin. So Spin up into 7th already, challenging his teammate through this really tricky section of the track. Revenge trying to get that position back, and yeah, definitely no teamwork going on there. But let's go all the way back to the start, because I need to see what happened to Mr. Revenge. So yeah, a bit of a slow reaction to the lights. And the Renault gets fully ahead into turn 1, and I think this is going to be Peachy who decides to have a go. Oh, he spins all on his own actually, goes onto the grass and loses it completely. And we're going to see this little battle between him and Spin. Spin goes a little bit wide into this corner and is all out of shape on the exit. So Revenge tries to switch back on him and get the position, and it's going to pay off for him. A little bit of bumping out the way as well, so Spin has to settle for 8th, Deco up to 9th, Ethan stays 10th, and it looks like a pretty bad start for Scotty as well, so let's see what's happened to Scotty. Pretty slow off the line. I think that's just the BRZ, it's not very quick. I think you have to go up into 4th gear very quickly actually to make it work. Wide around turn 1, and yeah, nothing too bad at the moment here. So yeah, he lost it there as well, and that's going to shuffle him all the way into last place. But let's have a look at Eroticos as we exit the first sector of the race. He has a fairly decent lead over Roblox, who is just ahead of Pyro. So great start for Pyro, got past Kanata on the start. Now he's trying to get past the second M6 of Peachy. This might allow Eroticos a little bit of breathing space. He's not going to be quick on this back straight, but Peachy's a little bit too far behind to do anything. Actually, looks like Kanata might be challenging Pyro for position here. Kanata flashing his lights. He wants to get past. He's got the overspeed as well. And as we brake for the corner, it looks like Kanata's got the inside line. Pyro's going to be brave around the outside, goes a bit deep. Kanata's got the chance ball to switch back. And it looks like both Mazdas are going to try and get past on this corner that you can't really overtake on. Pyro somehow makes it work. Now we got Pagel queuing up behind Kanata trying to get the position as well. This given Peachy some breathing space in P2. And Mr. Revenge trying to recover. He's already up into 6th. It looks like there's been an incident a little bit further down. Let's see. Oh. Fax Anonyma has fallen down as well. Let's see what's happened to him. So we're going into the chicane. Looks like Spin is going to knock him off track there. That was unfortunate for Anonyma for sure, and that's why he's going to be falling all the way to the back. But yeah, start of lap 2, we can go fast forward a little bit, because we've already seen some of this action. Pyro is fully in P3 now, and he can try and start to catch Peachy as well. Kanata really at the front of a train here. Looks like Revenge might think about having a go at Pagel into one of these corners. Let's see how they negotiate these two really tricky right-handers. The second one coming up is what I call death corner. A lot of incidents have happened here in the past, but everyone's making their way through it fairly easily at the moment. Blue flag at the start. Yeah, just a glitch. Just a glitch to ignore, mate. So no one really gained time on anybody on the straight there. I was expecting a bit of time to be caught up by Pagel, but he's going a little bit wide into the final corner. This is going to give Revenge a chance to chuck one down the inside of turn 1 if he's brave enough, and it looks like he is going to go for it. And enough space was given by Pagel there. They are still side by side going into turn 3. Really tricky right-hander. Pagel turns in a little bit too early and gets a bit out of shape as a result. Revenge not good on the throttle there as well, losing traction. So decent overtake by Revenge in the end there, and now he can focus on trying to catch Kanata, who's actually got away from him a little bit and is stuck with Pyro. So he did an 18.8. That is 7/10 slower than what Pyro did on the previous lap. Quickest lap so far is an 18.1 by Eroticos. All these guys are on soft tyres as well. Let's just have a quick look down the grid. It looks like Scotty actually went on the mediums, as did Trocker. So these guys not having any confidence in their tyres lasting to the end of the race, which is a bit concerning for them. Jezza up into the top 10. He's done pretty well on his second start back in Tier 3 after winning Tier 4. Looking for reverse grid pole, and pretty much on his own at the moment. We've got this big queue of cars who have all managed to stick with each other through the opening 3 laps. Ethan doing a fairly solid job up into P7 in the Jag as well. So we're on lap 3. Kanata's actually done an 18.1 there, which is pretty quick. 18 flat for Pyro, so Pyro slightly quicker than him at the moment. And definitely catching Peachy. Well, lapping the same as Peachy actually, but Peachy looks fairly close to Pyro. And Eroticos hasn't actually got away that much. So the wind's still on for a couple of these drivers. I'm going to stay on these car views because it's a bit too dark for the TV camera to pick up anything. I want to change the view. So Death Corner negotiated fairly well there by Kanata. He's completely dropped Revenge, who is just working his way, well, trying to work his way back up into the top 4 after a disastrous turn 1 of the race. Yeah, let's have a quick look at these times. So Peachy an 18.5, Pyro a 17.7, and Kanata a 17.7 as well. Almost identical laps for those two. That's incredibly quick. Lapping in the 17s as the tyres are slowly starting to go off for these cars. But yeah, Peachy going a fair bit slower than the chasing pack. So let's stick on with Pyro and see if he can close this gap in this battle for P2. Oh, a little bit squirrely on exit. I wonder if he's going to avoid a penalty. I think he'll be alright. Still going quicker than his previous lap though. The Mazda struggles through Sector 1 compared to the other cars, but the rest of the lap is pretty solid for it. Especially the exit of that corner, it's quite strong, and then it's got good top speed as well. So if you can get close to Peachy, this is where the overtake's probably going to happen. He'll be benefiting a little bit from slipstream at this point as well, because the gap's probably down to a second. Some good traction on the exit there for Pyro as well. And he does set the fastest lap, another 17.7, but slightly quicker than they managed before. Peachy on a 17.8, so a very good lap for Peachy there as well, but still Pyro is slowly gaining. Kanata meanwhile at 17.7, just the same as Pyro, so really sticking with this pack. Let's try a different camera angle. Let's see. There is Pyro and Kanata slowly chasing him down. It looks like Pagel's got past Mr. Revenge at some point. Let's see what happened to Revenge. He had a half-second penalty. Okay, back to the front. what's Eroticon's pace doing? 18.1, so he's lapping a good 4/10 slower than these guys. So there is a potential that Eroticos gets caught here. And if he does, he's not really got the beans in that car to fight these cars on the straight. And 16.2 for Kanata, great lap from Kanata, fastest lap of the race. Again, that is 2/10 quicker than Pyro. Pretty much identical to Peachy, and yeah, Eroticos is by far the slowest driver in this group. So the win definitely on for Peachy at the moment. He could get 2 wins in a row in Tier 3, which would be his 3rd overall actually, since he won 1 of the Tier 3 races last season as well. He's not in the Toyota, by the way, if you're getting glimpses of that livery. They've done something sinful in the livery editor for the season. And yeah, he's very close to Eroticos now. We should see him close the gap on this straight. And if you can get a good exit out of the final chicane, it might tee him up nicely for an overtake into turn 1. So he's starting to close the gap now. Eroticos really struggles once he gets into 7th gear in that Renault. Yeah, shifting up to 3rd on the exit for extra traction it's the way to go out of that final chicane. And then a 17.8 compared to an 18.1, so another 3/10 knocked out of Eroticos' time there. Then a little bit further back, Pyro is actually falling off the back of these a little bit. Kanata's pretty close to the back of Pyro at the moment. So 2 little groups forming at the front, and then a huge gap back to Pagel, who's at the front of a bit of a train. Let's have a check of what's going on there. Well, they're not actually that close together. They're a bit more spread out than the minimap shows them. So we'll go back to the front because Peachy is very close now to Eroticos. Would have been praying that he had the top speed of the GR Supra here, because this is where it would be coming in very handy against the Renault, but it's just not enough yet. A little bit further back, Pyro's got enough of a gap behind him to not have to worry too much about Kanata. And yeah, better exit there from Eroticos. And that knocks 4/10 off of Peachy's time, because he is starting to get stuck behind Eroticos and start thinking about how to deal with the dirty air of that Renault. 18.2 identical times, these top 2 guys. BMW is one of the quickest cars around here, that's for sure. So Peachy should be challenging for the win before the end. We've got 4 more laps left of the sprint race. So close now. If he gets good exit here, oh, a little bit of traction lost on the exit. That's allowing Eroticos to inch away. It looks like something's happening further down as well. Let's see what happened between Spin and Ethan. Right, let's ride on board with Spin. It looks like the 2 ahead, Revenge and Ethan, are actually battling for position. Ethan looks like he's just managed to get ahead of Revenge. Goes a little bit on the grass. Now we're going 3 wide into the corner. And Ethan's lost out, but he's still in there. And he's going to chuck his car in, stop Spin from turning. Spin's going to get a better exit though, and he's got the slipstream of Revenge as well. So his teammate helping him out with slipstream there, and Ethan shuffled down to 9th now as a result. 8th, sorry, but it might be 9th because here comes Deco as well, who's had a bit of a quiet race, but he's in the mix at the moment. A little bit deep there from Ethan. He's going to be out of shape on the exit as well. Deco might be able to stick his nose in into the final turn. Ethan covers him off. Deco's going for a wider entry. It doesn't pay off for him at all, and he's going to have to settle behind Ethan for now. Meanwhile, at the front, Kanata's lost a bit of ground to Pyro with an 18.2. Pyro's not had such a fast lap either, and he's starting to get a little bit squirrely. Went off track slightly there. I wonder if that's going to be a penalty. No, he gets away with it for now. Meanwhile, Peachy has settled in a little bit further behind Eroticos. So Eroticos does have breathing space on the back straight this time round. So it's pretty much as you were in the top 4. Pagel pretty much on his own now. Revenge back past Spin and Ethan, and now creating a little bit of a gap, probably a second to Spin. Ethan might have a chance on Spin here though. So not having the best sprint race this week, Spin. Ethan's so late on the brakes. Spin manages to nail the corner and gives enough space on the exit. That wasn't actually needed because Ethan was too out of shape to take advantage, and Spin gets that position maintained. So P7 still for Spin. Deco has a run on Ethan. These guys lapping in the 19s. Still pretty quick, gotta be said. Ethan really deep on the exit of turn 1 allows Deco to reel him in a little bit, but here is where the dirty air is going to start coming in. Deco's gone wide and he's just going to lose time. He's gone wide again, as is Ethan, but yeah, not the most tidy driving in the traffic at the moment in terms of nailing apexes. Back at the front, Kanata is still fairly close to Pyro. He's not close enough to have a go, and Peachy, Peachy just hasn't really got an answer for Eroticos at the moment, or their pace is just too similar. It's going to be a slow lap for Peachy though, 7/10 down on his best. We'll put him in the low to mid 18s depending on how this final sector goes for him. So rounding the corner to start the final lap is Eroticos, setting up 18.4 there, which is 3/10 quicker than what Peachy managed. 18.7 for Pyro. He's starting to struggle there, and Kanata an 18.2, so it's not over in the battle for third place, definitely. A little bit further down we got Pagel just about to start his final lap as well, all on his own. Revenge still has Spin for company, and Ethan. Deco fairly close as well, and then Jezza is currently rounding out our top 10. Only a little bit ahead of Anonymous, so he has to keep his nose clean in this final lap to get reverse grip pole. Julio 12th, Trocker 13th, Cameron and Fak. We've lost somebody as well. So Eroticos starting his final descent down the main straight. You can see Peachy there going a little bit wide on the exit, so that gives him even more breathing space. Yeah, the Renault's doing super well this season, currently doing well in Tier 1 and Tier 4. So it's definitely one of the best cars at the moment in the meta category, for sure. Rounding the final chicane with absolutely no problem at all. The Renault is going to take its first win of the season. Eroticos' first ever win in ALR. If he can nail this final corner, absolutely no problem. Big congratulations to Eroticos on his first win. Peachy second, Pyro third. And then Kanata's had some mistakes somewhere. It's going to be out on the exit of the final corner. I don't know where. No, he doesn't, actually. Excuse me, he hasn't made a mistake. Pagel is going to take a fairly decent P5, something to build on in the future. Revenge, our pole sitter, could only get P6 in the end, ahead of Spin, Ethan and Deco. Then a bit of a gap down to Jezza, lapping in the 20s towards the end of the race in that Lambo. Reverse grid pole for him. Then outside the points we've got Julio, Anonyma, who's actually dropped a position in the final lap. Trocker on his medium tyres will end up in P13, sliding through the last chicane. Did a 132 2 laps ago, but 19.1's fairly decent for a fastest lap. 21.9 was his final, and Cameron in P14 after starting last, and Senior Fak having a race to forget in P15, and the DNF was Scotty in his BRZ, but he comes back for the feature. Right, let's find this feature race. There we go. Okay, let's have a tyre check before we get going. I'm expecting medium to be the quickest strategy if the car can do it. Some of these guys will probably do medium hard. I think hard medium won the race in tier 2. So the hards aren't actually that bad at the moment, especially on a track like this. We saw the hards in our top list last season as well, so it's a genuine option for the higher tyre wear tracks. So we got Jezza on mediums. Let me just see if anyone is starting on anything different. Every single driver is on the mediums. So expecting people who one stop to come in around about lap 15, potentially 14 for an undercut, and the two stoppers obviously will be around lap 10. Unless they're doing medium soft, then it could be 12 or 13 for the pit stops. Yeah, let's go. We've got 30 laps of this feature race about to start. Jezza on pole with last year's tier 3 runner-up Deco is starting just behind him, so good opportunity for Deco to get past, but Jezza is a tier 4 champion himself, so he's not going to make it easy in this Lambo. Looks like Deco might come under a little bit of pressure from Ethan. Ethan got a poor turn 1, he's going to come under pressure himself from spin behind him. Fairly uneventful opening few corners on a tricky track, to be honest. Everyone is still there apart from Julio, so let's see what's happened to him. So heading into turn 1, under pressure already from Anonyma, but he's just going to go off all on his own there. That's unfortunate, and that's going to pop him to the back. See if anything's happening further up, because I did see a yellow flag. I don't think it was because of him. Tricky corner this one, and we've got Peachy actually spinning. So let's see what's happened to Peachy. Peachy's going up the hill now, really close behind Pyro. Obviously he started in P9, he stayed in P9 in the opening corners. Erotico's behind him as well. And another driver's in the wall as well ahead. That's unfortunate for Peachy. And then we've got Spin as well. Well, Spin, this is Spin's first spin of the season, actually. We're keeping a spin counter. He's on 1 and Pyro's on 1. And he gets on the throttle, and it was a bit slow to get going from Ethan's point of view, and he just hits the back of him and goes into a spin into the wall, down to P14. So Scotty already up 3 spots in his slow BRZ. Meanwhile, at the front, Jezza has a fairly slender lead over Deco as it stands. Nearly couldn't even see Deco there. Deco's actually going for a challenge for the race lead on lap 1. Looks like he's got really good overspeed. We know that the Lambo doesn't have the best top speed. He's revving it out as much as he possibly can. But Deco should have that position sewn up and P1 in the bag. That's a great opportunity for Deco to try and build a bit of a lead. He got a slow exit from that final corner though. Jezza's going to think about chucking it on the inside, backs out of it instead. And instead he might get overtaken by Mr. Revenge here. Really good bit of opportunism from Mr. Revenge. Was well placed for that half attempt that Jezza did. And now Deco's off and Revenge suddenly has the lead of the race. So that is potentially the luckiest couple of corners that you're going to get in ALR. One driver makes a mistake, then another driver makes a mistake, and all of a sudden you are in the race lead. Fairly decent lead. Ethan gets promoted up to second, and Pagel gets promoted to third. Pagel's still really close behind Ethan. Ethan struggling with that corner once again, and Pagel's going to sweep through, take P2, so great start there for Pagel, up into second. Ethan gets half-second penalty for going so wide as well. So this is going to promote Kanata up into P3. He finished 4th in the feature, and he's already up into 4th now. And it's going to become 3rd, so really, really good start for Kanata. Jez is going to potentially recover to P4 with this half-second from Ethan. We'll have to see how much this half-second penalises Ethan. So there's Kanata. We knew that was going to happen. Now, is Jezza going to get close enough? He's definitely got the speed for it. Ethan's trying to go defensive. Jezza goes really tight into the corner. Looked like Eroticos was there as well. Eroticos going very deep into the corner. Sorry, that is Pyro, not Eroticos. It was Eroticos though. So let's see what's going to happen here. Eroticos with Jezza just behind. And Eroticos just goes way too deep. Not quite sure what he was thinking there. Pyro tucks up into P6 now. Fak up into 7th. What a great start for Fak. Starting so low down. He's already in 7th. Nonima must have fallen back a little bit because Cameron's got past him. Cameron's in the top 10 now. So 2 Jags in the top 10. And Senor Fak trying to get a move done on Trocker. Not much happening in that battle, but Pyro, Ethan and Jezza looks like a bit of a juicy one. Jezza struggling, falling a little bit backwards in this feature race so far. Oh, Ethan and Pyro take that corner absolutely horrifically, so they couldn't really take advantage of Jezza's pace there, and now Jezza's probably got a get out of jail free card going onto the back straight. Ethan's still stuck behind him. We got Kanata who's going to have to try and chase down Pagel for that P2 as well. Oh, here we go. Ethan does have the speed. Where's Pyro? Pyro's still a little bit further back. And is he going to be brave enough? No, he backs out of it, tucks in behind, and Jezza survives. Oh, really sloppy exit from Jezza. He actually gets pushed by Ethan. This is going to open the door for Pyro. Pyro's going to stick it in on the last corner and takes way too much curb. Allows Ethan to just get the position straight back. That should have been an easy overtake for Pyro, to be honest. So Jezza survives, and it's as you were in the top 6. A little bit further back, Fak is 7th, Scotty's 8th. Ahead of Trocker and Anonimo, but these guys are all fairly close, about a second apart each at the moment. Eroticos, Deco, who we saw have that mistake after taking the lead of the race. That's the second feature race in a row. Deco's been in a fantastic position and then made mistakes. Spin peachy on a recovery. Cameron's obviously made a mistake somewhere. He set at 130 on that previous lap. And Julio is going to try and catch up to the back of them, but lapping in the 20s at the moment. Meanwhile, Revenge has the fastest lap with a 19.1. Incredibly quick lap, so Andy's gone a little bit quicker so far on this lap. Our pulse showing the pace that he was showing in qualifying here, to be honest, but it's on medium tyres. So 18.9 this time round. Incredibly impressive to get to the 18s on mediums, especially in tier 3. Pagel on a 19.6. So 8/10 slower than the fastest lap, which actually belongs to Eroticos, so he's on a charge after his big mistake. And all on his own. Oh, Ethan's got past Jezza. Let's see where that happened. So once again we're on the back straight. Once again Ethan has the overspeed. Let's watch from Pyro's point of view. Pyro's in there for a bit of fun as well. Ethan really late on the brakes, bit wide into the final corner and gets a compromised angle, but Jezza also didn't have the best angle, so that is P4 now for Ethan. which is where I was expecting him to be as a minimum, even in this Jag, to be honest. I think the Jag's got some pretty good tyre life on it. Oh, poor exit there from the Huracan, and the Mazda's just going to swoop past easily, and that's P5 for Pyro. He's lost maybe 2 seconds there to Ethan, trying to get past. Scotty's caught up to this pack actually, and he's going to try an audacious move around the outside of Jezza. If he manages to pull this off around the outside once again, and he does, he's got a great exit there, fantastic overtake from Scotty, it's got to be said. Jezza's going to have a chance to come back, and Senor Fax in here for good measure as well. 3 wide into the chicane. Jez is going for it. He's got the outside line for the chicane, but Jez has got absolutely no beans at all. And oh, Trocker gets involved there as well, and that kind of knocks Senor Fac off the off his trajectory. It's got to be said, and he's just tucking in front of Eroticos now. Is he going to let his teammate through? Looks like he is. Oh, but Eroticos goes wide all on his own. So that's going to be a couple of positions down for Eroticos. Made a bit of a pig's ear of that one. So not have our race 1 winner having a atrocious race 2 at the moment. Down to P13. What's happening at the front? Oh, Mr. Revenge has a half-second penalty. This is going to close the gap with Pagel and Kanata significantly. Kanata's done pretty well to close the gap to Pagel. Two tenths up as well for Kanata at the moment. So that half-second penalty brings Pagel into the equation now. Oh. But yeah, he saved it. But yeah, Revenge going to drive away a little bit on the run to turn 1 now. But yeah, this isn't suddenly as easy as it was looking for Revenge. Now, if Pagel can keep his composure and avoid mistakes, he could get the win here. There's a big gap between P3 and P4. Ethan does have a gap himself to Pyro, because of Pyro getting past Jezza. Jezza has a bit of a gap to Trocker, who's ahead of Scotty now after all of that palaver on the previous lap at the chicane. We've got Anonyma in P9, Deco recovering in P10. We'll be wanting to get past Anonyma fairly quickly as well. But a bit closer is Scotty, challenging Trocker here. See if Scotty can do anything with Slipstream against this Ferrari. The Ferrari's not got the best straight line speed, and he is as close as you can possibly get, but he isn't close enough to try a move yet. He's going to go on the inside. Trocker's going to hang it around the outside, which becomes the inside for Trocker. Scotty's going to try the switchback. Trocker loses a bit of traction. And yeah, Trocker holds him off for now. Good little battle between these two. Scotty gets really good traction on the exit of that corner. This is the part of the track that the Subaru loves, but he's struggling. Oh, but Trocker gets a second penalty. That is a disaster for him. That's going to drop him way back. It might actually drop him behind Anonyma as well. Both of them squarely on the exit there. Trocker took too much curb. And oh, he's not even waiting. Scotty's just decided he's having that spot. The door was left open and he took it, so yeah, Trocker's gonna definitely fall back behind Anonyma now. There we go. There's the penalty. Down to 10th. Is it going to become 11th? Might become 12th because here's Eroticos as well. Oh! Something absolutely crazy is happening with one of the drivers. It's Spin. I think he's about to disconnect. That's wild. Oh no, he's rejoined. No, he's gone. Right, let's see. Let's watch this from his point of view. This is crazy. Whoa! And then somehow the game just automatically puts him back on the track. Wow. Okay. Well, Spin's out. That's the takeaway from that story. Trocker survives somehow with that car being all over the place, but he's coming under pressure from Peachy now. So regardless of that, Trocker outside the top 10. Something else happened actually. Did it? I think so. Because I don't think we have Senor Fak either. So here's Senor Fak. He's going to nearly knock Spin off, but he's gone anyway. And then he stops. Then Eroticos gets past him. Now watch what's happened here with Peachy. He moves to the right, and Peachy moves to the right to try and overtake him. I think he was going to try and let him past. And then Peachy obviously wipes Fak out. It ended up in the steward's room, and Fak just rage quit, I suppose, after that mistake. But yeah, let's go back forward to when we dropped down to 14 drivers. There we go. That's when Trocker left. So let's rejoin this battle at the front. We've got the top 3 separated by maybe 3 seconds at the moment. Kanata fairly close to Hagel, trying to chase him down for P2. We've got a big gap to Ethan, who's got Pyro closing in on him. Ethan on a 19.4, Pyro on a 19 flat, so 4/10 of a second quicker at the moment. And then Jez is still, oh my god. I was going to say he's holding his own against everyone, but let's see how this pans out, because we've got, Jez has got a 2.5 penalty. I think he'll be serving it this lap. We've got Scotty trying to get past Anonyma here. He's got the inside line for the exit, and he loses a bit of traction. That's going to allow the GR Supra to get alongside him. And Jezza might come under a bit of pressure himself. Well, he will, because he's about to serve a 2.5 penalty. So let's join with Anonyma, who moves up into 6th place all of a sudden, just ahead of Deco and Eroticos, who is battling Scotty. Scotty falling down to 9th with his poor speed there on the straight. And Trocker trying to recover, he's in 10th at the moment. So yeah, lots of things happening every single lap, but not really getting any overtakes, apart from that really good one Scotty did. Oh, here we go into turn 1. Deco's having a go at Anonyma, backs out of it. 2 Toyotas, but one's a GR Supra, the one behind, and the one in front is the FT1. Tyres starting to struggle now as well. The front lefts are approaching 50%, or are at 50%, depending on which car you're on. So I'm expecting to start seeing a few more mistakes. At the front, it's pretty much as you were. They're not that close. Looks like Ethan made a mistake there. Yep, he loses traction, nearly spins it, and Pyro swoops through and takes P4, so good overtake for Pyro. But again, one that was heavily assisted. Anonyma currently at the front of this quite long train, about half the grids in this train. Deco is definitely close enough to get a move done here. The door looks like it's been half left open, and he is going for it. Is he going to make the corner? Anonyma trying to take more of an angle through the corners, but Deco's car's well placed. It looks like he's got P6 now. So really good recovery, Deco, after his mistake from the race lead. Looks like Eroticos was trying the same thing, but just like Pyro a couple of laps ago, takes way too much curb on that final corner and loses all of his speed. Anonyma goes wide into turn 1 though. Eroticos has a chance of getting it into turn 2, but he backs out of it, which is the wise thing to do. This is allowing Deco to get away though, which isn't great for Eroticos. Still side by side. This is a huge risk from Eroticos. He does go wide and into the gravel very slightly. Anonyma's going to get past. Actually, Trocker gets past both of them, as does Scotty. And yeah, Peachy actually gets past Eroticos as well. So another mistake here from Eroticos. A little bit too keen to get past, and as a result loses 3 spots. Now Trocker's getting overtaken by Scotty, and Anonyma side by side. He's dropped to 9th now. So great bit of work there by Trocker. He's got P8 in his sights as well. Scotty already going defensive, but it might not even be enough here, to be honest. Anonyma might get through as well. Scotty gonna have to be late on the brakes, but he's braked a little bit too much, and Anonyma's through. So Scotty making progress in Sector 1 every lap and losing it all in the final straight by the looks of things. And yeah, just getting involved in too many battles. He can't focus on setting good laps because everyone around him is just in his way. Trocker's off. He's rejoined in P9 just ahead of Peachy, and the 2 in front are actually battling as well. Scotty once again at the head of the field, this time ahead of Anonyma. He's got to really nail these next few corners to build up enough of a gap to keep it. So these guys really stumbling over themselves to see who can finish lower at the moment. Meanwhile, the top 3 are very much as you were. Oh, a little bit wide there for Scotty. He's off the track. Like I said, these guys are tripping over themselves. That's an easy overtake for Anonyma to get up into P7. Trocker, for some reason, really far back. He's been battling with Peachy clearly for this P9. Like Peachy's got a great chance of getting the position. He's got the overspeed. He's slightly ahead into the chicane. Trocker's gonna stick it out again. He's done this multiple times, but this time it's not going to be enough. Looks like Peachy's got the position, and Trocker's deciding to go into the pits to make his first pit stop. Look at his rear tyre, it's completely gone. He's going to do a 2-stopper, and yeah, the first in the pits. So that brings him basically out of contention, in my opinion. Mr. Revenge really struggling on these mediums as well. This is a great... oh, well, actually, I was going to say a great opportunity for Pagel. Pagel's not treating his mediums very well, and that's probably why. Too much throttle on corner exit, making his tyres slide a little bit too much. Then we've got anything else happening. People have started to spread out suddenly after being so close to each other. Eroticos still down in 11th. That's really 12th out of 13 if you take Trocker's pit stop into account. So yeah, let's stick on with this battle for P1 because these guys' tyres are absolutely crying. They'll be either in on lap 14 or 15. They might need to come in on lap 14, but that's going to make the end of the race incredibly painful for them if they do that. Kanata, how's Kanata doing? 19.5 compared to a 20.6 for Pagel, compared to a 19.7 for Revenge. So that's what the tyre drop-off is basically. They were doing 18.7s, these top guys, at the start of the race, and now Pagel's in the 20s. Lieutenant Rocker. It's not Lieutenant Rocker, no. Yeah, Revenge still managing to lap decently though on these dead tyres, potentially a little bit better than Pagel. Pagel's car definitely has better tyres, so the way that he's driving is pretty damaging for the tyres. I think he's got to think about how he approaches these sprint races a little bit better if he wants to win, because he could potentially have the lead here. He should have a significant tyre advantage at this stage. Let's see if anyone's coming into the pits now. Oh, Pagel nearly loses it. No one in the pits yet. What about Pyro? Is he going to think about doing an undercut? He's got the same problem as Pagel. He's carrying on, but his tyres, they might even go fully red on this lap. On the left, Ethan is going to try and undercut and try to get past Pyro again. Let's see how that works out for him. He's got 15% of his fuel left, significantly less than Deco. Scotty's carrying on. Anonymous still very close to Scotty, so Scotty hasn't managed to shake him at all. They both got pretty similar tyres. Scotty's a little bit worse. Scotty taking a really tight entry into turn 1. Going to make it go wide into turn 2, but still has the speed advantage over Anonymous into turn 3. Like I said, this is where he needs to start pulling away from Anonymous to keep that position by the end of the lap. Oh no! A 2-second penalty for Scotty is... yeah, that's not good, mate. That's going to drop you really far down, because Peachy is giving Anonymous something to think about here. Peachy fancying an overtake on Anonymous at the same time as Scotty serves his penalty. Could be 2 positions in 1 for Peachy. Here we go, he's definitely got the overspeed. Good job, the ghosting was on there, to be honest. Yeah, is he going to be fully ahead going into the turn? Yeah, Anonymous backs out of it, as we're seeing everyone start to come into the pits now. So that means we are going to... oh, no we're not. I was going to say we're going to join Ethan, but he's got a 3-second penalty. Deco has actually carried on for another lap, so he wants fresher tyres for his second stint. I'll have to see how this works out for him. Revenge putting in significantly less fuel than Kanata in this pit stop. Going to come out way ahead, and that means Pagel should be comfortably ahead of Kanata as well. Kanata may be losing some time to Pyro here with the extra fuel that he's putting in. Three-second penalty for Kanata. That is going to be a disaster. Pyro... no, 3-second penalty for Pagel, sorry. Kanata actually somehow came out ahead of him through the pits, so maybe Kanata was better at fuel management than Pagel. This Mazda is one of the worst on fuel if you rev it out too much. I was pretty much half shifting, especially in Spa. We got Pyro is in 5th, so not too far behind Pagel. He should get P4 off Pagel now. So Pagel is the huge loser in this pit sequence, dropping from 2nd to 5th. We were just talking a couple of minutes ago about him potentially winning the race. That no longer looks the case, and Revenge has a fairly decent advantage at the moment. It looks like Deco's going for another lap. I wonder if Deco's going to try the medium soft. I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't think it's possible. You'd have to go to lap 20, but his tyres won't. So he's still going to do a medium, but have much fresher tyres at the end of the race. Yeah, there's Pagel. Oh, I'm making another mistake there for Pagel. So Ethan had a 3-second penalty. He'd probably be right up the back of Pagel at this point if he didn't get that penalty. Peachy has been a big winner through the pit sequence, coming out in 7th. Scotty out in 8th. Eroticos is at least in the top 10 now. And he started on pole and he's down to 10th at the moment. Anonyma and Trocker. Oh. What has happened here? Anonyma serving his penalty and recovering and not judging his brakes correctly for the corner. And yeah, he's just in the gravel, losing out to Trocker there. Trocker put in loads of fuel, so it's going to be a pretty short pit stop, his final one, but he's not managed to overtake anyone really in that pit sequence. I think he's lost out. So, and he's on the hard tyres. He's on the hard. Is he going to try and go to the end on these hard tyres? That's why he's lost out. Very difficult to drive the hards, but once they come into temperature, they can be fairly similar to the mediums, especially once the medium starts where there is an overlap. Here we go. Deco's finally coming into the pits. I'm really interested to see where he comes out. So Revenge is going to retake the race lead. Maybe Deco's got a chance of coming out near Pagel with all of Pagel's issues that we've seen. Erotico's saying his undercut gave him 3 or 4 positions. Pretty decent, but the rest of the race might be a bit of a struggle now. That's the trade-off with the undercut. Short-term game which you have to fight tooth and nail to keep. Kanata going to keep that position as well. Deco's coming out of the pits now. Pagel already through turn 1. Deco could be out ahead of Ethan. It's going to be really close. Looks like Ethan's got that position as well, and a comfortable P6 by the looks of it. Actually, no, he has got Ethan. He's comfortably got Ethan. Ethan just coming through turn 1 now, ahead of Peachy, Scotty, Eroticos, who's still on his recovery, up into 9th now as it stands. So, pretty good position for Deco to be in right now. He's got a good opportunity to chase down the others because his tyres are so much fresher than theirs. And just to confirm, he is on mediums, like we thought he was gonna. Excuse me, like we thought he was gonna be. Ethan's starting to get caught by Peachy, so let's just stick with this for now. Actually, yeah, he's comfortably ahead of Scotty. Eroticos hasn't managed to close in enough on Scotty to give him any trouble as well. So yeah, everyone's a little bit gapped at the moment. Oh, shame for Cameron, he's down in 13th. Don't know if he just hasn't practiced enough or he doesn't like this track yet. Because we know he's capable of much better than that, mate. Let's ride on board for a little bit with Peachy. He's lapping in the 18s. 2 seconds quicker, actually, on the previous lap than Ethan. Ethan having a bit of a scruffy time at the moment on these medium tyres, so Peachy has a great chance of reeling him in and getting the overtake done. Remember, Peachy off into this wall on the left here on the opening lap. Managed to get to grips with it this time around though. He's lapping quicker than he has done so far this race. Ethan really wide into that first corner, but it's this one that matters, that you're able to get your foot down. It looks like both of them took it fairly decently. Peachy's got a great chance of getting the overtake done here. Both of them pretty good in a straight line, but now we're seeing the slipstream start to kick in. Ethan going defensive. He does not want to give the inside line to Scotty. Scotty decides to go around the outside. Ethan brakes slightly later. Is he going to make the corner? He does. A little bit wide again on the second part of the corner. Peachy doesn't try a cutback. He just tucks in behind again for now. .1. Just lost about 3/10, I reckon. Stuck behind Ethan. Ethan really poor turn 1, so Peachy has to back out of it. He's just too close at the wrong part of the track to try a move. Scotty's headlights we're starting to see now as well. He's gonna come into the equation pretty soon. So a little Ethan train at the moment, a Jag train. There's the cars all queuing up behind. We got Eroticos in P9 there as well. So is Peachy going to be able to get close enough? Ethan has a bit of a gap going onto the back straight, and that is probably just about going to be enough. Scotty fortunately has a bit of slipstream to help him keep his position and not come under threat from the Renault here. You can see how much he's struggling though. The Renault's catching up pretty quickly. But it's as you were once again in this battle for P6. It's like Pyro and Kanata fairly close on track, but Pyro's got a solid lead over. Kanata's got a solid lead over Pyro at the moment. Here we go, another poor exit from turn 1 for Ethan. Peachy could have sent it, but yeah, the right call was not to. Again, Ethan out of shape on the exit. Peachy's deciding to go for it. Oh, Scotty's there as well. Now, the cutback from Peachy, that is superb overtake. It could have gone so wrong. Both of them, credits both of them for getting that done. A little bit further back, we've got Eroticos trying to get a move on Scotty as everyone's bunched up with that fighting. He's got to back out of it for now, but he's got the inside line here. Scotty's having to go wide and gets pushed a little bit on the dirt, loses the position. A little bit wide on the exit as well was Ethan, so Eroticos really close behind him in the slipstream. Let's see what a Jag versus a Renault with slipstream looks like. And yeah, just not enough actually. We know the Renault's not too quick in a straight line, and that was evidence there. But it's not over yet. Eroticos has a chance. He's got the inside. He's managed to stick his car there. Ethan's going to have to give him space. Eroticos takes the inside curve again, but this time he keeps enough traction to get the position. Ethan gets past as well because, Scotty gets past as well because Ethan goes a little bit wide, and yeah, he was been racing on the edge and having a lot of twitchy moments. The Jag isn't an easy car to drive in terms of traction, especially if you've got no traction control on, but Ethan does have traction on and he still spun it. So unfortunately that takes Ethan out of the equation, promotes all of them a position, even though they managed to get it on their own anyway. And yeah, good news for these guys is they can start powering on. They've got a bit of a gap to each other. Deco's not a million miles ahead. Deco lapping in the low 19s, so that's what they need to start beating if they want to catch him in the next 8 laps. Let's do a quick tyre check because we're on lap 23 now. These tyres need to last them the rest of the race. So Revenge probably has, if we're looking at the front left, I'd say maybe 60% left. A little bit better for Kanata. Revenge and Pyro are fairly similar. Paggle's slightly better than Pyro, maybe by a couple of percent. Deco's obviously with his late pit stops flying at the moment, a 19 flat with really fresh tyres. He can push as hard as he wants on those. Peachy has probably better tyres than the top 4, it's got to be said. Eroticos struggling, but he did pit a lap earlier, so that might open the door for Scotty, who's got probably 10% better tyre life at the moment than Eroticos. So Eroticos needing to maybe do a bit of practice on looking after his tyres as well. Yeah, that Subaru is very good through the first sector. 29.4 on fairly worn mediums is a very good time through the first sector. Now he's got a bit of slipstream on the Renault. Let's see, anything happening a bit further up? No, let's go a little bit further down then and see what's going on. Trocker on his hard tyres. He's still in 11th. Jez is in 10th and getting in his way a little bit. So is Trocker going to try and move into the chicane? It's really difficult to do on the hard tyres, but definitely possible. Lamborghini versus Ferrari. Oh, Jez just completely backs out. He's like, I'm not fighting you. Just go. Just go. That's potentially going to open the door for Anonymous, who's dropped all the way down to 12th at the moment. And then he did catch up to the back of those guys, but he's fallen back again, our Cameron. So yeah, everyone's pretty spaced out. It's this battle that's the interesting one still. Scotty's still hanging in there with Eroticos. So he DNF'd the sprint, but he's recovered from 16th up to 8th. It's not very often that you manage to recover 8 positions in a single race. Not able to chase down the cars in front. It looks like Eroticos is very close to Peachy at the moment actually. Both of them really wide into the entry, which allows Scotty to close up once again. He does take that chicane much better than the cars in front, I've noticed. 19 flat for Eroticos, fairly decent lap time. 19.6 for Peachy, he needs to find something on this lap a little bit better than what he did last time. And an 18.9 for Scotty. Scotty's in the 18s. Really good. Peachy's saving fuel at the moment. Okay. Oh, losing traction. That's going to be a huge opportunity here for Scotty. Sorry, Scotty's hesitant on which way to go though, and that allows Rotikos to kind of pick the position, and he's got the inside for these next two corners. Even though Scotty's done this move before around the outside, this time Rotikos just a little bit too good. Scotty's going to tuck into the slipstream. This is an overtaking opportunity for Scotty on the straight, which we have not said, and well, ever when it comes to the BRZ getting overtakes done, to be honest. But he's gonna have to be brave on the braking, and he isn't. He decides better. He wasn't even remotely alongside, and loses a bit of traction in the middle of the chicane as well to give Rotikos more breathing room. Anonyma and Trocker having a little battle here as well. Looks like Anonyma's got past Trocker. Trocker's gonna try another move, struggling on these hard tyres. Anonyma going defensive, pretty good defending there from Anonyma. Oh, and Trocker's actually managed to get alongside on the exit. That's a really good exit from that final chicane, and he decides to just tap the brakes, and that allows Anonyma to swoop through. I think if you're going to be tapping on the brakes in that final corner there, then you're always going to be losing out. So P11 still for Trocker. Jez is still in with a shout here as well of getting a position. Trocker's a little bit all over the place, got a half-second penalty as well. Trocker's actually got very worn hard tyres, more worn than Jez's mediums. Maybe why he's starting to make mistakes now. You don't need to take that corner in first gear, Jezza. Not on the exit anyway. So this should be an overtake for Jezza. Trocker's got maybe a second on him, but that half second is going to penalise him more than just half of a second. And it's a comfortable overtake for Jezza. Back up into P11 for our pole sitter. At the front, Revenge pretty much all on his own. Let's just stick until we see another car. There is Kanata. Kanata with an alright lead over Pyro. Pyro did set a 1 minute 20.6 on lap 25, and that is probably what's cost him a bit of time. Pagel all on his own in P4 now. Same can be said for Deco. Deco's not actually managed to close the gap to the top guys after his incredibly long first stint. A second penalty for Peachy. Okay, this is going to be massive. He's going to lose 2 positions. Oh, no he's not, because the Renault has half a second. Scotty has a full second as well. So this is going to be a battle of whose penalty penalises them the least. Rotikos should still get past Peachy. So an easy position there for Rotikos. The 2 race winners, 2 of the 3 so far this season, it looks like it's about to be 4 different race winners, are, well, yeah, every position counts for these 2, and Peachy might be cursing to himself that he let that overtake happen. He's got better tyres for the last 3 laps. 3 laps on those tyres for Rotikos might not work out. The tyre wear has been pretty high on that Renault for him. He's got 2 tyres that are nearing puncture territory as well. So it's not over in this battle for P7 at all. But yeah, Rotikos hasn't been showing that those tyres are about to go off. He's still kept up the pace and actually making positions here. So like Deco's actually catching up to Pagel a little bit as well. Pagel's lapping in the 20s, his tyres have completely gone off, but let's stick with Peachy, because he's close enough to get a move done here with a good exit. Rotikos on the grass a little bit on the exit, so that might have cost him a tenth or 2 down this straight. Peachy's got a chance here of catching. This is about the time when the Renault stops accelerating to the same extent as other cars. And if he's brave, he'll go for it. He's just not close enough on this time. He's got 2 more laps to do it though. 19.5, so they're still showing some fairly decent pace, these guys. Still lapping in the 19s. Oh, really wide there for PG. They've dropped Scotty completely at this point with his second penalty. Yeah, in the first sector being in the 30s, that's, yeah, a telltale sign that the tyres are starting to give up now. You can tell because they're having to make small corrections in the middle of the corners to account for the fact that the tyres are starting to go off. Erotica's very close to 0% now. This is concerning. He's still lapping, he's still within half a second of his fastest time. That's pretty impressive, considering these tyres. But this could go all wrong on the final lap. This is the lap that is make or break for Eroticos. He went for the undercut, gained 3 or 4 positions in the pit stops. Managed to keep up onto them for now, but oh, look how he's struggling on the exit. This is going to open the door for Peachy because he's got so many more tricky corners like that he's going to have to negotiate and keep traction. It's the right-handers that you've got to look out for, which one's coming now. This should be easily flat out for Eroticos. Looks like he's dealt with it all right. Now we've got 2 right-handers coming up. That'll be pretty tricky for him. This is the final lap. Well, let's join Mr. Revenge, who's at the final chicane. He's going to take a fantastic debut win of ALR and announce himself as a title contender. He's going to be pretty close to the lead at the end of this, so a huge congratulations for another first-time race winner, Mr. Revenge. Pyro, pretty solid. Didn't make any mistakes like we saw lots of other drivers make in terms of penalties or anything. He takes a pretty solid P2, his best results since come back into Tier 3. Kanata is going to get another podium for him. Solid for him. Pagel could have challenged for the win if things went a little bit better, but maybe didn't have the pace for it. P4 for him. Deco a solid P5, couldn't catch the guys enough. And then here we go, Peachy, we need to rewind this because he's actually got the position done. So joining Peachy on board, he's got the outside line for the upcoming chicane. He's got the overspeed. He is slightly ahead. He is nearly fully ahead going into the braking zone. Eroticos is going to try and stick it. He gets given the space, but it's not enough unless he gets a switch back here. His tyres have about 1% life left in them. And it looks like Peachy's just done enough. Fantastic overtake at the end for Peachy. Eroticos 7th, Scotty 8th in the end. Then we got Ethan, who again could have been top 5 here, but a few too many mistakes, nearly completely dead tyres as well. Pretty slow final lap for him in the almost the 22s. Anonyma is going to be in a solid P10 for him, and then Trocker on his hard tyres didn't quite work out. He's going to finish down in 11th, just ahead of Jezza, and the final position is going to go to Cameron. So let's see what that does for the championship standings. In first place, we've got Roticos, 56 points. Only 2 points behind him is Peachy, who overtook him on that final corner there. So without that, he'd have a 6-point lead. He's only got 2 points. Then we've got Kanata on 53, so he's only 3 points behind. No wins for him yet, but a 5th, a 4th, a 4th, and a 3rd, and a fastest lap puts him there. Mr. Revenge moves up into 4th place. He's only 3 points behind Eroticos as well, same number of points as Kanata. Then Pyro is on 48, so he's only 8 points behind. So the top 5 all within 8 points, all getting multiple podiums. Actually, Kanata's only got the 1 podium. And all of them, apart from Kanata, having the 1 below par race, I think you could say, outside the top 5. Then there's a big gap. So a 13-point gap between Pyro and Deco. Then we got Spin, who had his DNF and his P7. So the lowest placed race winner so far this season. Then Pagel in P8. He should feel like he should be a lot higher, but he had a DNF in the feature race last week. Unfortunate for him. And we got Prime Call, who didn't race, and then Jezza rounding out the top 10. In the constructors, we got the M6 team, which is Kanata and Peachy in P1, 30 points ahead of the Nissan team, which is Revenge and Spin. So a lot to play for this season, and that's about it from me. Thanks for watching, and next week we are in a rainy Suzuka, so that's going to be an exciting one to watch. So